Sego Sewaguego, you're watching FNTV Live, and we are reporting right now outside of the Kahnawake Education Center, where we have learned that this morning there was a situation that had come up where the schools were on a temporary lockdown here in Kahnawake due to a phone call that was placed regarding an emergency situation. So we're here with Alana Atwin, who is the Director of Communications for the Kahnawake Education Center, to give us more details. So Alana, can you tell me what happened this morning? How did we get here?
Communications officer. But no, it was just everything is fine now. What happened was we received a phone call at reception from a concerned community member who had heard a rumor. It was a very serious rumor. It was a threat against one of our schools, so we take it seriously. That's part of our procedures. That's what we do. So we implemented it was called a lockdown with warning. It's not the lockdown in the sense of people knowing, like, hearing the word lockdown, but for us the lockdown with warning is every threat, possible threat to the external of the school is eliminated, because we keep the kids inside the building, we keep the staff inside the building. We implement procedures within the schools to ensure that all the activities remain the same. We stay the same. Everything's going on, but extra procedures, extra safety procedures. No one is allowed in and out of the building. So it's not the lockdown per se, which is a very serious, although this is serious, but it's not the worst case scenario.
So tell us, like, what unfolded. There was a call that came in. How was that flushed out?
Well, the call came in about 10:15. By 10:35, we had our 3 schools on lockdown. I received the call. I was actually at a meeting, and I returned to the school to get a debriefing on the situation, because it's a lockdown with warning. We need to get as much information as we can. The peacekeepers were notified. Lou John Daibo, the Director of Finance Administration, came with me. We went to the radio station to update the community, and while we were there, the lockdown with warning was lifted. Peacekeepers looked into the situation. It wasn't a viable threat, so we lifted the lockdown with warning. But it always is taken very seriously when it's concerning the children and the staff within our schools.
Of course. Now, I understand over the years the Kahnawake Education Center has dealt with similar type of protocols that are in place. So just to reassure parents, there is a process and procedures that happen when this type of situation occurs.
Mm-hmm. Always. For every single situation, emergency situation, we have procedures in place. And actually, Jason Calvert, who's the operations manager at KEC, and I, and Perry Cross, who's the building maintenance supervisor at Kahnawake School, we attended an emergency preparedness and disaster planning conference in November, and we were actually hired an external consultant who is coming in and is currently revamping all of our procedures to make sure that they're up to date with all of the standards that are out there. So there's going to be a few changes, but all in the interest of keeping everyone safe within our schools at any type of emergency.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
And are you able at this point to disclose any of the type of information regarding the call that was placed was it to the education center or the peacekeepers?
It was a call that was placed to our reception at Kahnawake School. Okay. And she has her procedures, who she notifies. And people say, well, it took them an hour to let us know. But we have to let people know that our priority is our schools and our staff, our children and our staff. So we have procedures within our walls to ensure that we all have the information that we need in order to continue running. Business is running, but at the same time, make sure everything is safe. Everyone is safe. So between, within 45 minutes, getting the information and then having the lockdown with warning lifted, right, I think is a good time. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, people right now, our communications part is very small. It's a long time. I know from the time that we received the call to the time that I'll be putting a press release with all the information out before the end of the day today. But I am involved within the crisis response team at all of the schools. I do have a role to play, and sometimes getting the information and making sure that community is aware kind of interferes with writing it down and getting it out. So I appreciate this opportunity, as well as K103, to help us to get the information out there ASAP.
I'm sure people can understand too that there needs to be an investigation that happens. So what can you tell us about that call? There was some information that was left at reception in terms of something to do with somebody heard something, or?
Well, I mean, the peacekeepers, that's their job. They follow up on where that threat comes from. We just know that it's a threat. So they're going to be doing their due diligence to make sure that that's, addressed. And, I mean, obviously they already have if we lifted the warning. But for us, we just, we're just going to continue to do what we do, and implement our procedures to make sure that everything is done according to how we're supposed to be doing it to keep everyone safe.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so you're watching FNTV Live, and of course that temporary lockdown has now been lifted and all the schools have been deemed safe here in Kahnawake. Reporting for First Nations TV, I'm Regan Jacobs.